Hi friends!
Hello there!
There's a good story in Star Wars, The Acolyte, buried underneath a pile of bad decisions.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
These bad decisions seem purposely made to anger fans, so we keep discussing the show and positioning the fumbling Star Wars brand across the web and the media. Because there are two ways to make a show stand in an overcrowded market. It's either so good that we can't keep talking about it, or if it's a show or a franchise with a pre-established fanbase, it can be so abrasive that its fans can't keep pushing against it. The latter is based on the idea that all marketing is good marketing.
The power of two. The power.
Get the f*** out!
There are many studies pointing this out. Eliciting strong emotional responses, either negative or positive, can create strong memory associations and even loyalty to a brand. To give you a source, I can name 1998's book The Fall on Advertising and the Rise of PR by Laura and Al Rice. They argued negative publicity can keep a brand at the top of mind. The result is a classical Disney formula that mixes three elements: convenience, trolling fans, and politics to cover mediocrity. Let's give you some context first, and start with the good. The show's context is simple. There are two twins, May and Osha, sensitive in the Force. May is working with a mysterious dark-side user to hunt Jedis, while Osha, who left the Jedi Order in the past, is working with her former master to hunt May. At its core, The Acolyte is a story about separation and grief. Osha and May grew up together in a all-women society of witches.
Yes.
They were attached to each other, and their two mothers wanted them to share their entire life together, as called witches. Osha, though, wanted to become a Jedi, and so when 4 Jedi came to offer training to the twins, May went rogue because she feared separation. That is a good theme that fits within the franchise. Now, the other good part of the show is Sol, the Jedi Master. The Squid Game's main actor Lee Jung-jae plays the role and seems like the only person invested in the story. However, I see a lot of K-drama, so I might be biased, you tell me. Anyhow, Sol trained Osha until she left the Order because she was not able to let go of her past. Sol is now his former, humble Jedi Master, eager to make up to her. Moreover, the Master is convinced there is still good in May, and he wants to help her redeem herself, and he wants Osha to forgive her and let go. This is similar to the main theme of the main franchise, so it was a good choice for this prequel story. I understand how pitching these ideas to Lucasfilm execs was a success, but the execution is on par with what you'd expect from the Disney Star Wars shows, mediocre, and the first evidence of its mediocrity is the show's convenient storytelling.
It had to have come from nearby. Is this the only apothecary in
By
town?
this, I mean the writers force events to happen in whichever way they please, to the detriment of the narrative internal logic. I'll name a few examples only in the first 3 episodes, so you'd be able to identify the threat going forward. The story kicks off when May kills Master Jedi Indara in a bar full of people in broad daylight, and in the most convenient way. She first kicks, punches, and tries to murder anyone when Indara just stands idle.
This is fine.
Then Indara decides to fight the rampaging assassin with her bare hands. Finally, she dies because she can't do 2 things at the same time.
I don't know what I'm doing!
The plot thickens because the Jedi confuse Osha with May. They are twins, and they conveniently have a very modern rapper dreadlock style, even though they have not seen each other in years. But they are black, you get it? So they get the black hairstyle. And now that we're at it, let's make them fatherless and victims as well. Oh, and they also have exactly the same voice, weight, height, and I bet even the makeup. The only thing that sets them apart is May's hair is slightly longer, but this doesn't play a role. In the same episode, the Jedi put Osha on a transport ship to a prison. A single droid guards the ship, while 2 other droids pilot it. Conveniently though, there's a prisoner with a literal computer on its face that's capable of hacking the droids. There's another prisoner that stretches his alien head across the jail bars so he can use it as a weapon to defeat the guard. So the prisoners escape in escape pods in who knows which part of the galaxy and leave Osha behind. The ship breaks down, Osha straps in, and the vessel free falls into an icy planet. The next scene is hilarious because all of the prisoners that escaped in a pod in another part of the galaxy are now imprisoned in Coruscant behind laser doors. These doors would have been handy in the ship, but I guess it was too expensive. The budget ran out when they paid for the 3 droids.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Anyhow, Master Soul immediately interrogates the single prisoner that knows where Osha went.
Barely an inconvenience.
He apparently has a power to read minds, but he doesn't use it ever again. Convenient. And get this, because it's
Yes,
science. The time Jedi took to capture these prisoners, take them back to Coruscant, interrogate them, prepare a crew, take a ship to the icy planet, land the ship, and walk across a mountain was the same time Osha took to get out the ship unscratched and walk across a mountain, because they all found each other in the first place they visited pretty easily. Science. Episode 2 uses a bigger convenience to move the plot along, and it happens when the Jedi are investigating the death of another master. Before I forget, May hacks a droid to enter the Jedi temple, but she escapes through a wide open roof conveniently above the Jedi she wants to kill. Okay, so what's the point of the droid guarding the gate? There's something funnier than that though. Let's go back to Master Whatever in the Jedi temple. He drank a poison from Osha's home planet and erased his life, and so the Jedis travel to that home planet to investigate. I love how small and silly planets in Disney Star Wars have become. When they say planet, they actually mean very small town in the middle of nowhere. This characteristic is common across all Disney Star Wars shows and movies, but it's funnier in the Acolyte. See, when the group arrives to very small town home planet, they are immediately in a terrace right next to the only apothecary in the very small town home planet, who is conveniently the guy that made the poison.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
And then there's a fight against May, and all of the Jedis keep underestimating her, even though she already killed a master. This inevitably leads to her escape. Now we're on episode 3, which is the plot's foundation, and also the worst offender. Osha and May are 12-year-old kids living in the all-female fantasy witch cult,
Because men are useless.
and Jedi come to recruit them. The problem is they are too old for the Jedis, as we know by the lore.
No, he will not be trained.
No.
He's too old.
That means they are already too attached to their families and to each other. Breaking these attachments at this age without leading to fear, hatred, or suffering to focus on the Jedi training is not feasible.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Also, one of the sisters can barely use the Force, and the other one is crazy. But no matter, this needed to happen for the story to happen, and the girls needed to be big enough to make an immediate mess. Because when Osha decides to join the Jedi, her psychopathic little sister prefers killing her than letting her go, so she throws a small candlelight into cold stone, and the stone fortress with metal doors catches on fire and explodes. All of the witches were also apparently in the same room, and they all died, no explanations given, and so the writers pulled this drama and forced it into the main characters. Before we jump to episode 4, let's dive into the next section. The trolling, which is how the studio keeps people talking about the show. I believe The Acolyte is damaging the franchise lore through a combination of laziness and strategically made decisions, including this song.
Speaking of which, journalism looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth?
Laziness, for example, because it could have been easy to avoid Osha and May's age when they were recruited for the Jedi. The story could have been the Jedi recruiting Osha when she was 4 years old, and then May growing resentment against Osha and the Jedi Order until she becomes older and makes a mess of things. And by strategically made decisions, I mean they understand where they are breaking the lore, so they push hard on these key points to make the fanbase angry. Even the show's marketing was made with this intent, trying to sell The Acolyte as the gayest Star Wars show ever, but it has little to do with that.
Yeah, people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly...
You're offended?
Into it.
Similarly, teasing Carrie-Anne Moss as a main part of the story, and then killing her Jedi Master in the first 5 minutes. The biggest example is in episode 3 though, which is learning how Osha and May were also born with Immaculate Conception, through the Force. You know who else was born like this? Anakin.
Who was his father?
There was no father.
This made Anakin a sort of divine figure in the galaxy, the child of prophecy, but I guess he's not that special anymore. Take that, you nerds! In a similar vein, notice how the Jedi don't feel the same? Through Master Leslie Headland's wife, they made the Order corrupt, bureaucratic, and willing to do questionable things to protect their status. I'd say this goes as far as making them evil, as they went to the all-female fantasy cult to practically kidnap the twins. In episode 4, we find a clearer example in Ki Arimundi, Ki-Adi-Mundi was a member of the Jedi Council in the prequel era. He has very few lines and minimal screen time, but in The Phantom Menace he says this.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
And out of all of the Jedis that exist, even counting Yoda, who is very much alive by this point, they had to choose this non-popular guy for a cameo on a show that very clearly features Sith or at least dark side users. This was definitely on purpose. This was putting the finger on the sword, mind you, even if they make it make sense by the end through some contrived reasons. A minor but funnier example is Kelnaka, the first Wookiee Jedi we met in live action. Wookiees are known for their immense physical strength, so we could imagine that Kelnaka would be extremely powerful. But nah, forget that. She dies off screen and contributes nothing to the story. Are your expectations subverted?
Because I would say but we really have to think of what the audience expects and what they want. And he says, no, we have to do the opposite. We have to give them something they don't expect that we want.
Are you angry? Are you ready to tweet about it? Lastly, I could count Master Whatever. He commits auto-deletion while being a Master Jedi. The Jedi Order is a semi-religious organization that values serenity, harmony, peace, knowledge, and discipline. They achieve these values by letting go of their attachments, regrets, strong emotions, and personal goals. Seeing a Master committing this act to erase his past sins makes you wonder how he became a Master in the first place, and even if this show has the same type of Jedi Order we have seen before. Let's move on to the third element as we wrap up episode 4.
In a very woman-centered world, which I was very...
Politics. Superfluous politics they use as a shield to cover the show's mediocrity. So, because the show happens to have a black girl as the lead, an Asian, women, and 2 lesbian moms proving to the world that they need no men.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Then you can't criticize it without being against these superfluous categories. Let's ignore the wooden acting, the fire in space, the lackluster CGI, the jokes that don't land, and the illogical pacing, where things either happen too fast or nothing happens for entire episodes. In fact, let's go ahead and forget the body-positive Jedi they added on episode 2, only to ironically write him out of the rest of the show and action sequences. Instead, let's take a quick look at episode 4. By the end of this chapter, May wants to surrender herself to Master Kelnaka. She finds Kelnaka dead, with lightsaber wounds on the belly, inside her house, so now she doesn't want to turn herself in.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
And so, in episode 5, she's fighting against the Jedi again. Women, am I right? Now, this episode is entertaining enough. Good direction, soundtrack, and action choreography. However, the episode wouldn't work without being simultaneously mediocre. For example, all of these unnamed Jedis seem useless morons, and Sol, the most competent one, is nowhere to be seen while all of the extras die. However, when Padawan Yaki fights the Sith, she holds her ground while dual wielding, which is weird because in episode 1, a Jedi Master couldn't keep up with the 2 hands of a lesser opponent. Are you aware that this is Jackie's first mission, meaning she has no real combat experience outside of training? Is this because women are amazing? Anyway, she manages to break his helmet, and to everyone's surprise, Darth Evil Guy is the only apothecary in the very small town home planet.
Surprise, mother...
By this point, Sol is standing idle while Jackie is fighting Evil Dude on her own, right in front of him, alone, and she dies. Then, the same thing happens when Jord dies, because Sol is standing idle. Is this because all white men need to be either useless or evil? Side note, Jackie's actress is Daphne Keane, who also played X-23 in Logan. It's funny because it looks like the director wanted her to act exactly like X-23, so that's why she fights screaming like a Viking warrior on drugs. I thought the Jedi needed to stay calm during battle. I also thought that actors could act and portray different roles in different stories. Let's move on. A while ago, Darth Evil Guy subdued May and was ready to kill her, but he delayed the moment long enough for Sol to arrive. Sol's previous battle with Darth Batty was similar. Evil Dude defeated him several times but never finished the task. But now Darth Bat is really ready to murder his acolyte, because May was ready to turn herself to the Jedi, but then she changed her mind. Following Acolyte conventions, he delays the moment yet again and just enough for Saul to arrive. I'm sensing a bit of a pattern here, wouldn't you say? Saul fights Darth Evenness one more time and defeats him. He's about to deliver justice to end this madness once and for all. And after everything Darth Dude has done, Saul spares his life because Osha notes he's unarmed. He's armed with 2 guns at the Force, and he just killed a Jedi Knight with his hands. So what else are you supposed to do? Put him on a prison ship? What happened to this?
I shall do what I must, Obi-Wan.
I will do what I must.
Wait, I know what happened. It became an ego-driven quote, as what Disney Jedis must do is proving they are better than the enemy, and then letting them go so they can continue their evil quest.
I'm better!
But then Osha tries to kill Darth Ginnensbury by sneaking up to him, sticking his android's light into his pack, evading his attack and running away. The light attracts alien giant bugs, but not lightsabers, okay? Trust me, it's science. Also, Osha is apparently faster than all of the Jedis that died in about 2 minutes. So the bugs take the evil guy away to a seemingly horrible, painful death. Rather than a Jedi Master ending the threat with a single trained swoop, the civilian finished the job in the messiest way possible. Okay, Leslie, you're a genius. But that's not as funny as seeing the same guy that was stronger than 10 Jedis combined be like, oh no, bugs, what do I do? But wait, there's more. May stuns Saul because she doesn't want to turn herself in anymore. Now the sisters meet. May tells her sister and begs Osha to choose her instead of the Jedi. May's love for her sister is so big that she never once helped her during the chaotic battle. But Osha is like, no, you're arrested, you're crazy, and your master sucks. And May is like, no, you're crazy, and Jedi suck. Finally, May stuns the sister she loves so much and leaves her stranded and unconscious in the alien planet.
Bye, bitch!
She got angry because Osha didn't want to go somewhere with her, I don't know where.
I don't know.
Then May pretends to be Osha and is kind enough to wait for Saul to wake up. She doesn't want to kill the Jedi anymore. Instead, she goes to the ship with Saul. In the end, the place she wanted to go was Saul's ship, something she could have done with the sister. Saul enters the ship and leaves all of the Jedi bodies behind. Wait, there's more. Halfway through the episode, Darth Evil Guy was trying to kill Osha, but when Evil Guy finds Osha, he helps her. Whatever you say, Leslie Headland, you're a genius. You see, the entire foundation of this show is rotten, so even the best episode works through major contrivances. It feels like every scene of this episode and the show contradicts the previous one. Anyway, here is a gratuitous shirtless guy scene. A first for Star Wars, but an increasingly normal thing in our entertainment. Let's move on to episode 6 and showcase a bonus element, something that has also become a staple of modern Hollywood. I call it a moral compass lost. I'm sure that Leslie Headland would like us to think that Jedi are the oppressors, while the crazy twins, the Covenant of Witches, and even the serial killer are either oppressed or misunderstood. Here, listen for yourself.
I think people started to get more and more excited about doing something a bit different, and something that was from the villain's perspective, and something that maybe questioned the Jedi Order.
About Star Wars is there is no good or evil. It depends on what side you're standing on, truly. You know what I mean?
And so, every step of this show has hints of Jedi being evil. Master Whatever erased himself because he couldn't bear the guilt. Or Darth Bad hinting that the Jedi are hiding something regarding the cult. However, the writer's total misunderstanding of what is good and what is evil makes this deconstruction of the Jedi a difficult task. In episode 6, Osha wakes up on a planet with Darth Guy. He blabbers about the dark side and she falls for it. Maybe it's because she likes the idea of turning her loss and grief into power. Or maybe she's tired of her emotionless face and wants to spice things up. Or maybe this is what the plot needed, so it's okay if the show speedruns the temptation storyline, because words and abs was all she needed. Moreover, the serial killer guy is also a victim, and being a victim justifies everything. So Master Bat is like, I want to have an apprentice. I want the power of 2. And she's like, I don't trust you. Oh, what's down there? I want him to be my apprentice. Yes, girl, that is a compelling reason to not escape or attack the enemy of your friends and your only father figure. Saul and May's storyline is weirder. As usual, May tries to kill him at first, but she changes her mind. Saul mumbles some things to the Jedi Council on the ship and sounds so cryptic that he ends up being a suspect of what happened in the planet. Naturally, he fails to say what happened in a clear, adult, professional manner. Then Saul stuns May. He realized she was carrying Osha's android like nothing happened. However, Osha lost it in the battle. This merchandising gimmick got it at the end of the previous episode. Congrats on one thing making sense, Leslie, you're a genius. After stunning May, the Jedi contacts Saul again. The signal is good, but Saul shuts off communication. Before he was unable to tell what happened because he mumbled during the 10 seconds of signal he had. Now he's just doing it on purpose, even though he's been resetting the transceiver the entire episode. He also requested Osha's help to fix the transceiver, and May was trying to fix it because Saul wanted to contact the Jedi. Here are some jokes in case you're thinking about the logic.
Relax, okay?
I've got another joke. Before he stunned May, May got angry at Saul because he was implying the Jedi are hiding something about the all-female fantasy cult, but he won't tell her. So she goes to the cockpit and calls the Jedi before getting interrupted. What is she doing there? Did she change her mind and is ready to surrender to the Jedi?
What do you want?
Who knows? I bet not even the writers know. They just wanted a reason for May to turn her back on his sworn enemy. What a mess, my friends. A hilarious combination of politics, contrivances, conveniences, and trolling. Then Master Wife arrives to the planet with Beta Jedi. Beta Guy believes Saul did this. Lastly, Saul imprisons May and says he will tell her the truth about what went down between the Jedi and the cult. Now he's really ready to talk, but he was not ready to talk 5 minutes ago when they were doing nothing and when he thought May was Osha. Okay, so this is it, guys. This is the flashback that will redefine the Jedi and show their true darkness. Now we're in episode 7, Saul's flashback. We learn that the whole conflict between the Jedi and the cult is because of two things. 1. Saul discovers the twins while the Jedi are researching a force anomaly that creates life. He fears the witches will force dark magic into young pre-adolescent girls. In fact, when he finds the girls, May is using the force to torture a bug. Twisted stuff.
Bitches be crazy.
2nd, Padawan Torvin desires to go home. This desire grows into desperation when the Jedi first visit the cult to see what's going on. In this moment, Mother Jasqueen messes with the Padawan's mind and his desire to return. Let's not skip the classical political moment. After Saul convinces Indara to check out the cult, Indara wants to go in alone. After all,
there are over 50 of them.
50 women.
And women can do no wrong. Keep this in mind, as this is the basic moral value the showrunners have. Indara keeps trying to de-escalate the conflict and insists Jedi should not interfere. However, both Saul and the Padawan are emotional. Saul wants to save the twins from the witches and take them as Padawans. Torvin wants to grab the witches so they can go home, as they are the force anomaly they've been searching for 7 months. Now here's the big twist. May did burn the fortress, but it was the angry mother that convinced her to do something to stop Osha from going to the Jedi. She didn't intend to burn the fortress, just the Jedi papers in her defense, so she runs for help afterwards. However, this is the result of grooming kids into evil. Then, the angry mother orders to shut all doors because Osha is not leaving and prepares to battle. The cult won't respect Osha's decision to go because she's just a thing they want to use to assure the cult's future. Where's that, you ask? I don't know. Because they live on a secluded planet with no plans, no goals, and no men to assure their continuation. So when Saul and Torvin rush to the fortress a second time, the witches are already prepared for battle. At this point, Mother Jasqueen turns into a demonic mist and Saul kills her in a very off-putting scene. Here, look, no one moves except for Saul and the mist, because this is what the plot needed. After the mother dies, she said she was going to let Osha go, even when she received the Jedi in front of armed witches ready to attack. Not to mention, she herself made threats to the Jedi.
Someday those noble intentions you all have will destroy every Jedi in the galaxy.
Was there any proofreading in this script? Also, does this make Saul evil? Mother Jasqueen was transforming into a demonic mist. What else was he supposed to do? Put her on a prison ship? Also, and I'm sorry for so many questions, May arrived at that moment to ask for help, and Saul thought she was Osha. In the present, Saul is telling this story to May, but simultaneously the show makes it seem as if Osha does not know the truth. What gives? Inevitably, the battle starts. Saul doesn't want to draw his weapon out because because, these are women, while Padawan Torben is doing his best to survive. Now the fortress is exploding, and Saul commands the Padawan to go help the twins. Mother, angry as a loving parent, also rushes to the kids. Nah, I'm kidding. She turns into a demonic mist to continue the attack instead of helping the twins. So all of the witches control Kennaka's mind, and Kennaka goes berserk until Indara breaks the connection. Apparently, she also disconnected all of the witches from the plot because they all died. Ridiculous. However, Indara is a very powerful Jedi. It would be a shame to kill her in a very silly way, like, say, a knife. Do you know what else is ridiculous? That the witches were not able to mind control the Padawan, even though Mother Jazz already corrupted him before, and even though he already went to the Coven in a heavily emotional state. His mind was fortified for some reason.
My mind is fortified.
But Kennaka's wasn't. It means that all of this Torben build-up and the exploration of his emotional turmoil was for nothing, and in exchange for a character that was just there as an action prop. By the way, what a strong Wookiee Jedi. It would be a shame to kill it off-screen.
Subverting expectations, not for the sake of the narrative, but to subvert expectation.
Finally, Saul finds the twins, but he can save only one of them, and he decides to save the one that's not crazy. The crazy one fell into the pit of her own actions. Now, I'm sure Saul could have used the Force to save both. Then again, the Force is as powerful or weak as the script needs it to be at any given moment. Like for example, Jedis looking for a Force anomaly with metal detectors, rather than using the Force they've been mastering for years. Anyway, that's the truth about the conflict between the Jedi and the cult. The reason why Master Torben took a vote of silence for 10 years and then erased himself after saying sorry to May. However, the only thing the Jedi did was trying to save little girls from a cult, forcing them into a path of dark magic against their will. Jedis were never the aggressors. They tried to de-escalate things at every step, and they tried to do it through diplomacy. The witches, though, used all of their dirty tricks against them. What the Jedi should regret is the consequences of their rushed actions, and how, despite good intentions, they were unable to find a peaceful solution to a dire situation. But in the showrunners' minds, the classic heroes are evil because the two male Jedis interfered with women, and men should never interfere with women or question them, not even if they are trying to help little kids. The show even tries to paint Indara, the only woman in the group and the obvious leader, as the one on the right, as if the right thing to do was leaving those kids alone to be forced into any position the cult needs them to be against their will if needed. A pretty modern Hollywood thing to say, because their moral compass is lost, and inconsistent stories and characters are a consequence of it. And when the moral compass breaks, it goes both ways. This flashback does not show the grand obscure Jedi secret that showrunners think it is, because they don't know what good and evil are. Lastly, when the Jedi get back to the ship, Indara is angry and disappointed, but she orders Saul to take care of Osha. Now, this is the story Saul tells to May in the present, but she did not need to hear it, even ask for it. She was right there and saw everything. But if Saul thought that this was Osha, then what exactly was Saul trying to hide? And remember, Saul wanted to tell the truth to the Jedi Council, while Indara wanted to keep it hidden. With that, let's go to the show's grand finale. The final episode keeps treating the Jedi's action against the cult as a total horror and as a reason to justify whatever the twins do. But remember, this was a murder in self-defense. Moreover, when Saul got to the fortress a second time, he already knew the cult was not going to let Osha go.
You can't go. We're stuck here now.
Other than the contrived main conflict, this episode is more of the same. Troll, convenient, mediocre, political, and weirdly evil. Let's start with some trolling in the form of a senator that says exactly what Leslie thinks about Jedi.
I think the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power, posing as a religion. A delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable. You project an image of goodness and restraint. But it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. And when, not if that happens, who will be strong enough to stop him?
But I'll tell you who can stop a snapping Jedi. Another Jedi. Because this is not the show presenting a moral dilemma. It can't be so when everything is so straightforward. The conversation needs to be honest. Instead, this is the show feeding their philosophies right into your ears. In fact, and as usual, the show's writers throw logic overboard because they are too busy proving their point and feeling smart about it. In this scene, a Republic senator is concerned because the Jedi are running a murder investigation without reporting to the Senate. When the senator asks,
How can you know there is no larger threat?
She replies,
All the victims were Jedi.
because all of the victims are Jedi? This is your reason? You mean some of the fiercest, most trained warriors and peacekeepers in the galaxy? Something that's capable of erasing multiple Jedi sounds exactly like a larger threat. And again, what's the logic anyway in this show?
I don't know.
Some conveniences. Saul wants to take May to the council and prove that the Force anomaly exists. May easily escapes and boards a ship. She could have killed Saul at this point, but she didn't. When Saul's ship is about to catch her, the marketing gimmick messes up the ship's cables to stop him. Why? We'll never know, because he's a Jedi companion. Plot, I guess. Oh no, May falls full speed into Planet Cold with her best acting face. Never mind, the ship lands with a tiny bump. She's okay, and she's obviously 3 steps away from the Cold's fortress, because planets are just very small towns. The stakes in this series are as serious as this girl's acting range. Then, Master Bat and Osha arrive at the same time to the same place. Osha convinces Master Bat to find May because she now trusts him.
Did I give you the impression that I was a fair person?
Yes, you're fair, Baby. All of these moments are full of issues, and it brings me to my main description of the Acolyte. Every scene is contrived. For example, May escapes Saul in a ship without hyperdrive capacity, and then she starts wandering the empty cold planet. What is her plan here? Is she gonna live off fruits or something? Then Osha feels May through the Force and finds her, and Saul feels the enemies through the Force and finds them. I never did that before though, as the Force is only as usable or useless as the plot needs it to be. Making up things as you go, friends, is the opposite of good writing. Now Saul is fighting and easily beating the evil master because he's really serious now. Master Bat really wants to kill Saul as well, not like before when he let him live several times. Meanwhile, May and Osha are fighting as well. The horror! Osha learns Saul killed her mother without the context of the event, and so she blames him for everything that has ever happened to her. Saul is even responsible for her negative emotions. Then May disappears from the battle with Osha and appears in the battle between Saul and Master Bat. At this point, Saul had a full minute to do what he must, as he said, but didn't. Typical. At this point, May disarms him like he's nothing, to fight alongside his master, even though she was running from her master a couple of episodes ago. And now, surrounded by enemies, Saul forgets about his Jedi mastery and becomes a puppy. And May doesn't kill puppies, I guess. She wants legal justice instead. Now she's good. But Osha arrives and she's angry at Saul. The horror. Saul naturally fails to explain the context of what happened in a clear, professional, adult manner. Instead, when he was about to say he loves Osha, she kills him with an unknown and unstoppable force power she just developed. What a sweetheart. Was Saul her paternal figure since she was about 8 years old? Did Saul kill her mother in self-defense when he was trying to save her from the oppression of her own mother's ancestor?
Yes!
Did Osha's new boyfriend kill the friends and people that helped raise Osha since she was about 8 years old?
Yes!
Is Osha right and justified because she's a woman?
Yes!
Don't think about it. Look at how Osha turns a blue lightsaber into red, because red is bad, pretty, racist. You get it? Huh? After the fight, Osha promises she will train with Darth Bat if he lets May go. The plan is letting the Jedis capture May because she won't remember anything. However, Osha needs to go, because if the Jedis find out how powerful she is, they will kill her like they did their mother. That is not at all what happened, but okay, let's go with this. Also, May is only there because she helped his master in battle. Even though she was running from him, she could have let him die, but we'll have to go with that as well. So before Darth Bat erases May's memories, May and Osha hug with a background of harmonious music. I wonder, are we supposed to root for them? These girls are the incarnation of evil and hypocrisy. A couple of episodes ago, May left her sister for dead.
You can't go. We're stuck here now. It's not up to you. You can't stop me. Yes, I can. How? I'll kill you.
She's been feeding on murderous intent since she was a kid. The good guy died like an idiot, and don't expect a funeral like Qui-Gon's funeral in The Phantom Menace. To this day, the Jedis on Planet Jungle are still rotting, most probably. Because do you know what Master Verna Menestra does or whatever? She presents Saul as a rogue Jedi to the Council. In her story, Saul wanted to keep the events at the Cold secret, so he killed a bunch of Jedis and then himself. Okay, how did he kill himself? There are no wounds on sight, whatever. He also killed Indara, even though the Jedi have a witness that knows May did that. Is there a Jedi Council here to contest her decisions? No, she does this against all logic and lore. Is this because she's a woman? She's also hiding the fact that her old Padawan went to the dark side and murdered a bunch of Jedis. Everyone in this show must be an idiot to just play along, including Yoda, who appears at the end and he's either a fool or a corrupt leader. One thing is showing the Jedi's flaws that led to their downside in hindsight and in a subtle manner. The other is making them evil, useless, and weirdly obsessed with young girls. Is the latter what Leslie learned from her former master, Jeffrey Epsilon? Finally, Osha and Master Sexy hold hands, ready to
Fuck you. Fuck me.
I thought this show was gonna be about forgiveness, letting go, redemption, salvation, emotional growth, and all that positive good old Star Wars themes. But no, we learn to grab onto our tragedies as a reason to justify terrible actions, to hate, to kill the ones that love you, to betray your friends, to follow your worst impulses, to look the other way in front of horrible crimes. Because in the end, you won't suffer the consequences for it. Other men will even be blamed for your actions. That's not all. The entire concept in here is off-putting. On the one side, the twins get out scotch-free with their actions justified. On the other side, Master Verna Mustra blames Saul for everything to protect the Jedi's reputation. But on the other side, it seems that Master Vesta Mestra thinks Saul committed a massive mistake and she's doing justice.
Saul made a mistake. A mistake he lived with for so long, it twisted his mind.
These writers, man. And not to forget, we also learned that kids can be groomed into anything, as long if it's done by women or sexy guys. Now, I understand the whole point of this is showcasing how May and Osha are the same person due to the force anomaly known as divergence, so they swapped places by the end of the show. Let's forget about how this makes sense, how they are the same person and yet took different paths, but then they think alike and fight alike. But then one has powers and the other one doesn't, and then the other has powers and the other doesn't. The Force Vergence is just a name to justify whatever. Not unlike how Rey and Kylo were a Force dichotomy in the sequel trilogy. The same means the same. It doesn't mean sometimes similar in some things, sometimes absolutely different. Throwing a magical name out there doesn't mean it makes sense, because there are no rules attached to it. It's just making up things as it goes as usual. But let's focus on the execution. The main actress can't act, so the emotional complexity is not there. Character motivations change every 5 minutes, so it makes the whole conflict confusing. And the main conflict is seen through the glass of a broken moral compass, so it doesn't work. And it's funny because this show takes itself very seriously, while at the same time making lightsabers go red because the character became evil, or wearing a black cape when they are bad. Sorry, I missed another fan hunting teaser. Consume! Lastly, Jedi might be flawed. Jedi might be easily deceived when it comes to political games, but Jedi were truly enlightened. And across George Lucas' original movies, there are many teachings and moments that live within me to this day.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Always with you what cannot be done. Hear you nothing that I say?
All right, I'll give it a try.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
Moreover, Jedis kept peace in the galaxy for centuries. It feels very disingenuous, showcasing Jedis that behave nothing like we remember and, at the same time, discrediting them. That would be very hard to do following the established lore and characteristics. However, Jedis were a semi-religious organization. Religion, unless it's a political religion, it's kinda not very popular right now. Therefore, Jedi is bad.
The Jedi are romanticized, deified. But if you strip away the myth and look at their deeds, the legacy of the Jedi is failure.
2 out of 10 because of Saul, Kimir, and Torbin's acting and action scenes. Then again, maybe this is bad on purpose. Who knows? Goodbye, my friends. Keep the comment section
civilized.
I'll kill you.